So briefly going through the original alphabet from the White Goddess here, and I am going to see if I can find out, because some of the trees were changed but the name for them didn't. So I want to find out what these words mean in ancient Gaelic, and I will let you know. So of course we're the Beth, Lewis, Neon. Beth is the birch, Lewis the rowan, Neon ash, Fionn elder, Sail willow, Uath hawthorn, dwyr oak, tin holly, col hazel, mwyn vine, gort ivy, perthbok the dwarf elder, rhys elder, and the vowels elm for the silver fir, on the firs, heather, eid or ich would be the white poplar, and edo or echo the yew tree. So they changed, of course, to what we now accept, going back to the start here, as the Ogham alphabet, where you've got the I'm trying to find it in the book, it might be in the other book. You're gonna have to quickly find me other book in amongst all my stuff here. Well, actually, let me just show you this really cool thing I got, and I'll read it off there. So, excuse me. So I got this off of Amazon, which I thought was really cool. So there, you've got the moons, the names of the moons, the month it pertains to, and the festival. And then it's got runes on it, and I don't know why it's got runes on it. But anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. And I can't find, yep, got it, got my book. Excuse me, folks. I obviously didn't plan for this very well, but I will be with you very soon as I find it. So why it was changed, I will get on to, because I did find out that. But I think mostly it's because of the unevenness of it. You know, that 20 kind of makes more sense when you split it up than potentially 18 does. 18 can't really be split into anything that may potentially make sense. I don't know, but somewhere along the line it changed, and maybe in my investigation I will find out why. So anyway, so the accepted way they go is birch, Beth, rowan, lewis, alder, fern, willow, sail, ash, nwyn, hawthorn, uath, oak, dare, holly, tin or tinner, hazel, col. Then the apple replaces the dwarf elder, the quert or curt, vine, mwyn, ivy, gort. Then you have a few new ones. So you've got reed, negatal, which is the letter NG, blackthorn, strafe, the letters ST or TS. So those are the two additions, which kind of makes sense in a way if you think about the way the runes work, with the ing or ingu's rune, and making up the end of, say, giving as opposed to give. So it kind of makes sense in that way. But again, of course, there were additions, of course. Then, of course, elder, ruis, and the vowels, elme, white fir or elm, white fir, on gorse. So firs was replaced with gorse. Then heather, poplar is the same, edie or yadi. I can't pronounce it very well, and the Iodad or Iodad. So the addition potentially to help with the writing system, or potentially to make the numbers add up a little bit more. So you've got 5 groups of 5. I can't think of what 18 splits to into right now, but I hope you get what I mean. Maybe 6. But anywho, so then I came across the Brehon tree law, one of the tree laws. So you would be fined a certain amount of money for these trees, but that's not the point. So this is from the Middle Ages. So the chieftain trees, the 7 chieftain trees, oak, hazel, holly, yew, ash, pine, and apple. So you can see the addition of the orchard trees here. The 7 peasant trees, blackthorn, elder, white hazel, white poplar, arbutus, and then 2 that do have a question mark on them, but they are the names Fiorus and Cranfir. Obviously, they haven't been interpreted. I can't think of the right word for that right now. And I'm going to see if I can find the rest. I did have it marked in my book, but I've probably lost it now. So that is potentially another reason for the change going down the line, is how it fit in with a more modern society, because of course the Middle Ages were more modern, here we go, were more modern than, excuse me, I'm knocking my camera over, were more modern then than of course the post-Roman time or during the Roman era when they came about. So I hope I'm making sense to you. So then you have the 7 peasant trees and the 7 shrub trees. And I didn't mark that down very well. So let me start again. 7 chieftain trees: oak, hazel, holly, yew, ash, pine and apple. The 7 peasant trees: alder, willow, hawthorn, rowan, birch, elm, and then one they don't know the name of but is Eda in the Old Gaelic. And the 7 shrub trees: blackthorn, elder, white hazel, white poplar, arbutus, then and cran fir. So ignore what I said before. I've read this directly from the book I got it from, and I obviously didn't write it down very well in my notebook. Anywho, so the classification of trees may have had an impact, is basically what I'm trying to say. So the changes in the alphabet from where it started, which would have been a written form of the gestural language used to trade with, I would imagine, and communicate with settlers, which the Romans did initially before they occupied. They just settled and traded. So bringing about that kind of universal language, and then potentially adding the trees to it, because trees were very prized. They were very much a part of our daily lives in Europe, in Northern Europe, more than Southern Europe, where Italy is. So trees would have made more sense to sort of add to, especially in the sort of northwestern Europe, the forested regions, where of course the ancient Celts and Gaelics lived. I don't know if they were called Gaelic, but that was the language. So trees had a certain amount of, they're very important to our daily lives. As I pointed out with the runes, that they represented things that were important to their daily lives. So interpreting it that way, potentially the trees were added for a system of R for Ruish, like the NATO system. That's just something I thought of. I haven't found any information on it, but of course that would be very difficult anyway. So understanding where these things come from helps us to understand what they mean to us, and of course, in my mind, how we modernize them to apply to our modern lives. So this is why I'm trying not to go down too far of the rabbit hole of the history and even interpreting that history and the mythology and superstition of where the Ogham came from, and look more at the future of it. So I will continue my research, and I'll continue to put up videos about what I've found, and just so you all have that same understanding that I have. And I hope I've made it clear for you, because I know I didn't put it clearly in my book. So what I'm going to do on the next one, because I was going to do it on this one, but I'm running out of time here, I like to keep them under 10 minutes, is look at the folklore side of it with starting with the birch, because that's the month we're in now. So I'll see you on the next one.